yours.
Yeah, because it's like 6 hours long, but I felt like it was
Yeah,
like 24 hours for me to get through it.
for real.
Like, yeah, because every hour it was so like vital. It's like it was so important. And I was like, okay, every time I hear something, like, let me go back and replay that whole hour again. Let me
I
play it
was
one
about
more
to say,
time.
and as we have these meetings and you go back, you're gonna see something different each time.
Wow, that's so crazy. Because I remember when I first listened to it, like a few months ago when I got it, it was just like I listened and it was like it wasn't nothing was it was just like not clicking for me because I still was kind of confused. You know what I'm saying? And this last time, I swear it was like, oh, you. I was like, damn, I got a asset in my possession.
Okay, you really
I,
do for real.
I'm like, yo, this is straight equity. Like, that's like, I'm a
That's like your
beneficiary
heart.
for real.
Yeah, that's like your heart and your policy when it comes to using the account that you have with the United States. Like they give you your social security card, but they don't tell you why you have it. What I gave you was your foundation. That's your land right there. And you from that seed you plant, you're gonna grow from there as you begin to understand like you did when you went back. And then now
Yeah,
you're about to get this, and it's gonna be like, oh man, this is why
yeah,
I see truth and letting disclosures on all of my documents.
exactly. And it's like I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I didn't never knew like how important it was to know like about your credit. Like about
Mhm.
the credit that they, that was
The real
assigned
credit,
to
not
us.
the credit
You know what I'm
score.
saying? Exactly. And I think most people when they hear about credit, they like, yeah, my credit score, some of my credit report and all this other stuff. But it's like, yo, that's the public.
Exactly. That's something
Yeah.
different. That's something that could be. It's a
Right. And
factor.
it's a factor. It's a factor. But the heart and soul is,
Okay,
yeah,
deeper than that.
yeah.
It's the
And
reason
I
for
ain't
that
gonna
factor.
right for real. And I'm gonna be I was over here like damn near wanna I ain't gonna say cry though, but it's like
But
it's
I
a
feel
happy
you.
feeling you
Yeah.
get. It's a happy feeling you get when it's like overwhelming, like yo, this is like when you can like fully like start understanding what it means and stuff. And then I guess then when you break it down, like you broke it down last time, but I still wasn't. But this time again, and I was like, yo, you break it down to the T.
It's just perspective and what you knew prior. You know what I'm saying? That will always, no matter what you read, what you're knowledgeable of is going to change your perspective of it. Like I read bills all the time and people don't see what I see, but they don't have the knowledge that I have. So of course they're not going to see what I see. As you begin, that just proves that you're becoming more knowledgeable because now you're taking on a different perspective. So when you read things, you may see it a little different than the average.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm saying it a whole lot. I'm like, I can't even really explain. Like, I tried to have a conversation with the one person, but it's hard to really. I said, bro, you gotta watch the video. You can't. It's hard to explain it.
It's one of them awakenings. It's an enlightenment. That's what it is. And enlightenment is you really can't you can, but it's like, do y'all not see it? Like I'm trying to grasp it. Right now it's in my head. I don't have time to get it out to you. I get it out to you when I get it. All the way, when it's embedded. Because what's going to happen
Exactly.
is you're going to be unlearning to relearn for real. And it's going to be hard for you to switch back to the public. That's why I don't understand the public debates. I'm like, what the hell is y'all saying? Okay, I'm different. And that's when it's going to
Yeah.
be starting to hit you like, okay, everybody is now on the same or have
Right.
the same perspective.
So, excuse me. Exactly. Everybody don't have the same perspective, and it's sad. Like, it's really sad. Like, 'cause
It's
this
so
perspective
sad.
is you welcome.
It
Because
can
this
save
perspective,
people's life.
exactly. I'm like, whoa. And it's a lot of people who are struggling financially, and
Nope,
they getting stressed out, all this anxiety over documents and titles.
nothing. Exactly.
I'm
Now,
like,
now imagine not being able to help them. Imagine me having to take myself away from the public to protect my peace and my mind. That's fucked up. But it's like that's what I must do.
you have to. It's like, 'cause some people are not open minded to information. Like,
But
and
this
it's
is
like they so
accurate information. There's nothing to be open to besides this is the way. Like what other
exactly.
it's not that. Like, and that's what I think too. It's been so much trickery and foolery that people think and they just have a already kind of a I type of feel when it comes to this versus a we, a wellness, a wholeness when it comes to this, because this is the way. They're telling you.
Absolutely, and it makes me think about all the deceptive practices that's going on. Like
Yeah,
it's like it's a trend of deception, and people don't. They just
exactly.
think that they
Misleading.
misleading. Yes, it's so
Because it's
crazy.
marketing. That's why I hate marketing. That's why my page look like trash, and y'all don't see me. And I'm not walking cute with all type of shit because this is not for that. This is not that. This is serious, and I, it's just no. I just I don't have time for that because this is serious. So if you gonna come over
Absolutely,
to this side, then you need to understand that this is easy and it's gonna change your life.
absolutely, and it's like when you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a better understanding of the truth and Leninec now, and like it's so funny because I sometimes I argue with other people who in this space. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like separated myself from them because they kind of like into the private like morgue side, and they say, hey,
Mhm.
you know, when you send in an instrument, you got to send in the UCC3 along with it, so that you can evidence that you tried to claim it and all this other
You
stuff.
don't
And I used to
need
believe
that.
that. I used to believe that. Right? You don't. And according to how I'm like, yo, you don't need none of that.
Look,
Cause
let's
it,
jump in. Let's jump in. And you
okay,
really about to see. You really about to see. Because the understanding that you have lets me know that you're ready to be guided. So this is gonna be like, let's let's start. Let me break this down to you. And then
okay,
when we get finished, tell me what you think. Because we hadn't started and you saying what you're saying. So let's get started. And then when we get finished, elaborate and tell me, how you feel.
okay,
So we're going to be diving into understanding or overstanding the purposes of the Uniform Commercial Code. This is something that you want to overstand because it is uniform. It's for everyone. And what they are speaking about is commerce. We know that we represent this consumer that enters into commerce because as an individual, we cannot enter into commerce. So it is important that we overstand the Uniform Commercial Code because it's going to tell us how we can participate.
okay,
And then you have the Uniform Partnership Act, which basically tells you how the partnership was formed so that you can or are able to enter into commerce, even though an individual can't.
okay,
That's where you hear they let us know in the Truth in Lending Act about co signing.
right,
So we're going to be looking at the purpose. And what you're going to find out is that the purpose of the Uniform Commercial Code, or what I'm going to make evident to you, is that the purpose of the Uniform Commercial Code is for it's for the sale and leases of goods, the sale and leases of property.
right,
And the performance is going to tell the performance of how that sale and lease should go. And the performance is going to be based upon the way that we transfer titles to one another.
okay,
At any time, you can chime in or tell me your thoughts. I'll ask periodically, but at any time, you can chime in.
okay,
Um, what does the Uniform Commercial Code governs? The Uniform Commercial Code governs the law of sales, sales of documents, contracts, and agreement. So if ever you receive a document from any person and you know that you have initiated a contract or you're receiving something, you'll want to go to the Uniform Commercial Code because they're going to tell you and govern how it is you're supposed to use and deal with those contracts and those agreements. It's going to tell you
okay,
how you interact with another. And I always want you to keep in mind that when you enter into commerce, you're paying and transfer titles by using documents only. It never changes in any realm. Anytime
absolutely.
you leave your personal place of business and you go out into the world and you interact with another and you begin to exchange these documents, that's what commerce is.
Mm-hmm.
Commerce is an exchange in US debt notes. Unless you
Medium
want
of exchange. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just said medium of exchange. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do Article 2 of the UCC governs? Article 2 governs all sales except for in Louisiana. Louisiana is the only place who has not adopted Article 2. They are for the buyer. They don't care about the seller.
Mm-hmm.
So Louisiana is a very good place in terms of protecting its consumer. Everywhere else is going to have some sort of counterparty that is going to be involved in the sale. Are services covered by the Uniform Commercial Code? Services does not or is not covered in the Uniform Commercial Code. They are never going to tell you how to run your business, how you should service another. They're not, but they are going to come in and tell you how you need to handle the document. And this is why the Uniform Commercial Code serves as a gap filler. Because when you contract with another on common law side of things, you contract to receive a service. The Uniform Commercial Code isn't going to step in and tell that person how it is that they should service another. That is something that is agreed upon between you and them at the time you initiate and create the agreement. After you do that and you use the documents to do that, the Uniform Commercial Code is going to come in and govern what it is that you both do with those documents, or any person who hands those documents or who bear those documents. The Uniform Commercial Code is going to fill the gap when it comes to goods and services. Services is
Okay.
going to be governed by common law, and these goods, these documents that we use, is going to be covered by the Uniform Commercial Code.
Okay.
So this is why we're going there. This is why we're digging deep. So what are goods? Goods are movable personal property. So anytime you receive this bill in the mail, you automatically know that you have something of value because you just received property. You know, everybody know if you have property, you have something of value. And you know that that property is coming at a price. The bill
Mm-hmm.
that you receive at your principal place of business, that is your personal property. That is for you to use. You may receive things like coupons, contracts, documents, records, papers, and negotiable instruments. So here you are with people creating all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's considered to be personal property. So if ever you have a bill in your possession, then you have personal property, something that you can use. You have something that is worth something. It has a price.
Mm-hmm. I like the sound of that.
Okay. So
Something
what
that's
is you got
merchantable.
personal exactly. You got something that you can take for its value, whatever that price
Collateral.
is.
Mm-hmm. That's collateral. Yep.
So a price to pay is what can be considered to be a price, or a price that can be paid. In my position that I operate in, I always can pay. I'm never
Absolutely.
paying. So a price that you can pay can be money like a US debt, or it could be other goods besides money like your bill, a negotiable instrument, something that you use as an alternative. You're going to be dealing with real estate for a price. And of course, you're going to be dealing with services for a price. Whatever the amount of services that you use with the person who you have initiated a contract with, you're going to be receiving a good for a price.
Okay.
So when you initiate a contract with these persons, you are contracting for personal property at a price. Two things.
Absolutely.
You're going to open up your agreements and it's going to say your customer card agreements. They're going to first tell you the pricing, and then they're going to tell you about the statement they're going to send you. Services and goods besides money, because they're also going to tell you do not send cash, whether you
Mm-hmm.
are initiating the contract or if you are receiving the bill later. So we get these things for a price, and the price that we're going to pay is going to be anything besides money. It's going to be a negotiable
Okay.
instrument.
Exactly.
It's going to be anything besides cash money,
Non-cash item.
non-cash item, for the purposes of us being able to lease our goods to another.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we lease our goods, that means that we have transferred the right to possession of our goods. So we have accepted the good, we have accepted the sale, and then we have delivered it to another. So we're leasing it to them. We're returning it and giving it consideration each
I
and
like
every month.
I like that because that's the whole point of contracting,
Contracted.
or in the whole point of granting credit, so you can defer the payments.
Exactly. So that I can make a claim to the interest, not
Mm-hmm.
so that I can avoid the interest.
Exactly.
So it's going to be considered to be a lease of goods because within that agreement that you made with the seller, there's a plan for you to receive payment every single month. So in order for you to lease the good, the sale has to be made to you first. And once that sale is made to you, then you will be accepting that document and leasing it to another.
That
You're
makes
going
sense too.
to
I'm sorry. Yeah, just
No, no,
everything
no,
just
I
making sense.
love it. Talk to me.
No, it just makes sense because, like you said, when you lease something, that's like installments.
Exactly. Thank you. 100%.
Yeah, month to month basis.
So you really want to pay attention to words in whole, like lease of goods, because this is a phrase that you will actually see in agreements. So the moment you see that, you don't have to read anything else. You know your duty. You know what you have agreed to do.
Exactly.
So how does a sale occur? How does that sale even happen in order for you to receive a good that you can actually lease to another? Sales happen by passing titles, transferring it from the seller to the buyer, or from one person to another for a price. So there's going to be two instances where a sale occurs when you decide to transact with another. Whenever they
Hmm.
transfer you the application for you to complete the instrument for you to complete, whenever they sign you
Hmm.
that and you transferred it back over, you pass that title back over there to them completed, you have
Okay.
just created the present sale.
The present sale. Yep. I was literally thinking that. I was like, that's probably the present sale.
The present sale. And not only did you make the present sale, you also then at that moment pass the title to seller to them. So now they're the seller.
Okay.
Later on, that same seller is going to pass a document on from them to you for a price. This is going to be your bill, the reason why, or your good, the reason why you decided to initiate the contract in the beginning is so that you can receive this good so that you can lease it.
Okay.
So your contract was transferred for a price by the seller. And later on, your bill is going to be exchanged for a price for the seller.
Okay.
So how do you feel? You
I
with
mean,
me?
I'm following. Listen, I'm following you. You know the reason why I'm following you because I told you already. I had did volume 1, so it's
Hmm.
all. It's kind of like it's just like a refresher. Like as you saying it, I'm like, okay, I know. I'm following because I kind of like already went through volume 1 a few times. So everything you saying is making more sense, and that's why when
Okay.
I was listening to the truth, the video, the beginner's course, credit course, it was making sense from some of the things you were saying in the video, as far as like the bill of lading and documented title. I'm like, I've read
Yeah.
all, I'm like,
Article 6.
everything just, it just makes so much sense. It's like, I don't even want to look at it as no bill. Like, it's just
You
like, this is
cannot.
work.
You cannot. You will not. It will 100% change. And that's what I'm saying. And what's going to end up naturally happening is your tolerance for people who think it is going to change. You're not going to have a high tolerant rate for those people.
Absolutely. I already, it's already happening. Like, for real. It's already happening,
It's
So,
sad that we can't help. It's just, I mean, we can help, but it's just like that we can't be so out loud and bold. And that's why you do have things for the private side and for the public side. And you see how shit going in the public.
oh, it's ridiculous. And everything you're saying right now, even with the lease of goods, and that's why it made me think about the finance charge. So they were saying like installments and stuff like that. It's just
Mhm.
different wordplay. It's just
Exactly, because Article 5 lets you know that these documents of title, these letters of credit can come in any form. The UCC
exactly,
doesn't govern how the other person serves you. So however they create the contract or the agreement or whatever is how they do it. The UCC don't care about that. They just care about what you do and how you handle it once you receive it.
exactly. I'm following. I'm just
Okay.
saying. I'm following. I'm enjoying the show right now.
Good. So what is a governed sale transaction? That's going to be Article 2. You're going to fall in love with Article 2. You do have the UCC complete set. Article 2 is going to give you all of the tea. It's going to tell you seller's rights, buyer's rights, warranties, purposes, faults. It's going to tell you everything there because it governs the sale from the moment you complete that instrument and you pass it over, and from the moment they make the sale to you at your principal place of business. Article 2 is going to govern what's supposed to happen during that time.
Okay.
So eventually, doing our mentorship, we'll get there. But just I want you to focus on our sessions and at least the beginner's course only. So beginner's course in these sessions.
Okay.
So what transaction does not involve the Uniform Commercial Code outside of service contracts? Employment contracts. You're never going to hear the Uniform Commercial Code talk about how a McDonald's employee is employees.
Okay.
Insurance contracts. That's not going to be talked about in the UCC either. And real property contracts like real estate. That's not going to be discussed in the Uniform Commercial Code. It's not. They're not going to talk about how someone decides to sell a home. They're going to talk about those documents when they do decide to sell a home. So I
Mm-hmm.
want you to bring the distinction or recognize the difference between real property and personal property.
Okay.
There's a difference. When we receive our bill in the mail, that's personal property. The house that we're living in is real property.
Okay.
And
Now I got a question about that. Can I? I might interrupt you. I'm sorry.
mm,
Because when I was listening to the video, the beginner's credit course, was going over a section talking about agricultural products,
mhm,
and I think it made reference to like the bill being considered like a good, since the corporation name is listed on the goods or in the bill, that's considered to be real property as well.
mhm. So here's why, because paper is made out of what?
Oh, okay, I got you. It's
Okay,
real
so
property.
it comes from the land, and this
It
home
comes
is
from the
considered
land,
that
yeah.
because this home is on the land. So this is why they're both free. This is why we make an agreement for real property and personal property, goods and services.
Got you. Okay,
Okay,
I
so
got
there's a difference when we initiate any contract with any person for personal, family, or household purposes. We are agreeing to goods and services. Those goods being the personal property, and the services being you being serviced with whatever the real property is, car, house, accept a credit card, whatever or however it is the person you initiated that agreement is servicing you. For as long as that's happening, you're going to have personal property in the mix.
Absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to, I was just had a little, it wasn't like a slight confusion. Like I get the personal property, I get that's the goods, the bills we receive, but I just thought for some reason the bill can be considered real property as well because it was manufactured, you know what I'm
But
saying?
its form
And
has changed.
okay, the form of it, okay, I got you. That makes
The
sense. All
form
right.
has changed completely. A house is going to be put together with exactly what the house is going to be.
Okay,
But that document isn't. It's going to change to pencils, papers, wood for the house and the inside. It's going to be a lot
got
of
it.
things. So
Absolutely.
it
Okay,
isn't
that
real
makes sense.
property because it changes.
Okay, got you.
Does the Uniform Commercial Code promote good faith? The Uniform Commercial Code 100% promotes good faith, and it applies to all parties that is involved with an agreement and contract. Everybody. So there's no question if this person follow the guidelines of the Uniform Commercial Code. The question is, do you have an agreement with this person? Then they 100% do, because the Uniform Commercial Code comes in and gap fills whatever agreement that you made on common law.
Okay,
When good faith is promoted, this is going to be something that you're going to see in your agreements. They're literally going to be saying good faith. And on the back of your contracts, your bills, some of them may say good faith. What they're telling you, or what that make you liable of, is being honest. It's a must. There's not a what there's no way around it. You must be honest and observe the Uniform Commercial Code when you are performing to your agreement and when you're using the goods and the contract, whether it's the promissory note or the instrument you receive due to it.
okay.
Everyone must observe the Uniform Commercial Code and have honesty in that we are transferring these documents to make payment to one another,
Okay.
not as debt notes, not cash money. We're not creating that type of medium of exchange because that may be unconscionable. What is unconscionability? So here you may see on or in a lot of agreements, they may mention conscionable because that's how they want your actions to be, even when it comes to repossessing. It shouldn't be extremely unfair, harsh, or oppressive. Anything that you're dealing with the seller, when it comes to dealing with the sale of goods, it should not be extremely unfair, harsh, or oppressive. If it is or is found to be, no judge is going to enforce that type of contract. So
Okay.
if you prove that there is unconscionability, then a judge will not enforce it. You don't want to say that they are fraud and expect the judge to enforce it.
You know what's so funny about what you just said? Because a lot of people kind of say like, "Oh, this is fraud because I don't owe this debt," but it's not fraud because they're sending you your bill.
Yeah, and it's not
They're
fraud. If anything, it's defraud because they are accepting cash from you, so they're defrauding the credit system. But at the same time, you're working with them to harm yourself. So you agree to the type of harm.
exactly like they, and then I feel like if you're receiving a bill in the, in a bill or document title, all this
That's all you
collateral,
need
that's they're doing their job. They sending it to you. They making
every
sure you get it.
single time. That's what they're liable for. So for as long as you got it, they don't owe you anything else. The moment
Right,
you stop that good, then they're gonna stop their service, and that's a given.
right, right.
When you stop the medium of exchange, when you stop the money flow because you're not happy that you received that bill in the mail, why not? You contracted for it. You agreed to get it. You need that so that you can satisfy your obligations to pay.
I feel like they are exercising good faith by
They
sending it
are.
to you.
They are because that's what the uniform said they must do. So anytime they do that, they are no different than when people repair credit. You shoot the seller a validation letter. They shoot you back a statement, a check. Like here you go, a valid document that you're able to use to make payment with. Now, what we fighting and fussing about? Why you want to take me to court? And when I gave you what you need to make payment, you don't want to pay? Why? Why are you doing that when your word is bond and you agreed to do it?
That's
It's
crazy.
because you're incompetent on how to do it. And that's just what all of us
Bottom
start
line.
out being for real. Because nobody ever taught us how to contract. Like who ever talked to us about that?
Exactly. Like it's just so crazy because everybody, oh yeah, I'm gonna validate, I'm gonna send them a validation, the FDCPA, all that. And they like,
And
all right, here go the money. Now release the collateral.
release the collateral. Can you sue? Yeah. Congress let you know in the FDCPA though, they don't get them misconstrued. They don't agree with you suing, and vice versa. But if you got to take it there, then go ahead. That's why you have arbitration clauses in each and every agreement you deal with. And a lot of times they keep you out of the court. They make you agree to their arbitration rules where they say they get to pick the judge in the case, not actually go to small claims because it's childish.
Childish. It's so childish.
But you can. That's the thing about it. Like nobody can tell nobody what to do. You could do that if you want to. But it just shows your incompetence. And that's why the judge be pissed. Like, why is you wasting my time in here?
That's why
And
you a
then
little
you have
minor.
then you have the opposite party saying, "Did you sign this document?" and pointing to the document and showing you your signature, and you say, "Yeah." Okay, so now you're liable. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
unconscionability is what a judge wants to hear. A judge wants to hear that someone has been extremely unfair to you, harsh to you, or oppressive to you. That's what they want to see. If that has happened, then the judge not going to force the contract. Ain't nobody going to do that to his people. Nobody, unless the people allow it to happen to themselves.
Right.
Then they'll mind their business. They'll stay out of it.
Ah, man, it's crazy.
So, what does the Uniform Commercial Code imposes on the parties of a contract? The Uniform Commercial Code imposes good faith on each party. It imposes a duty of honesty, observing the Uniform Commercial Code. And it also imposes that a merchant must, so there's no way around it, a merchant must be employed for fair dealing in commerce because this is going to bring about the buy, sell, and trade. The Uniform Commercial Code imposes that each person exchange and change these documents to help create the medium of exchange, to help create money. Article 9.
I
This
love this. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. I love this. I love it because it's like this is easy. Like I'm something like that's kind of like what are we fighting for? It's supposed to be easy for us.
Man, because we're not happy. We're
I'm
not
sorry. I'm
peaceful.
just getting excited.
No, it's fine. I love the conversation. It's gonna help.
Like, what are we arguing about, folks? Like, why are we competing? It's supposed to be easy. They gave you something that you can benefit from. Like, what are we
Okay.
doing?
For the
Like,
simple
what?
fact that Everybody got equal opportunity. Why you mad that they benefit and you want them to benefit, right? You should want the next person to do good. That just shows you how we are trained and developed to hate naturally
This is wow. Like what?
for no
Ah,
reason when it could be so simple.
like,
It's just, I don't know. It's the trained mind.
that's that. You know what? That nail on the coffin. That's exactly what it is. That's
That's
exactly
why I
what it
booked
is.
these mentorships and I stopped serving the public. I wanted to complete my tour so bad. I wanted to so bad, but I'm an energy person. I feel that, like, for real. I'm not a weirdo. Like, I'm not one of them crazy type of people. Like, I feel that, like, it's a real thing. Like, and I'm a regular person. Like, I don't walk around like that. Like, but I feel that. And I felt that. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. I'd rather be more, let's do the mentorship so that they can get the training because obviously it's some things that they don't know. And that was the case. They were joining classes and didn't know what they were signing up for. So
That's so crazy.
that's just not going to work if you're, I'm a teacher. So for a
Right.
teacher, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to create a system to where I can do this and break it down to you and walk you through step by step because you're really expecting step by step in about 6 hours. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And
Mentorship.
people, some people want this to they want it like so fast. They want to rush through it. They don't want no foundation, and they get mad. And
You
it's
don't
just so
want to
many
know
purposes.
why. So now they
You know
can't
what I'm
apply it. If you don't know why
saying?
you can't apply it, it don't stop at the knowledge. It stop at being wise and wisdom. Once you reach that level of being wise about the information, then you're easily knowledgeable about it and now you can use it. You know the who, what, when, where, how.
Yeah, exactly,
People are
exactly. It's
doing
too.
like
Yeah,
two out of the three out of the five. Like it's not enough. So mentorships is enough, whether you sign up for a beginner or you sign up for a deluxe. I'm gonna lay the foundation from you from beginning to the end. If you stop in the middle, you got a good enough idea.
we got you.
So
Yeah,
it is easy. That's why I was telling my
yeah,
other client, like, I don't see my other mentee, I'm like, I don't see this lasting long. Like, I don't see this industry lasting long. The only way it's gonna last long is if the people is misled. Because if people knew the truth, it ain't gonna be hard.
right. It's like I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm the same. I go off energy. If somebody like just giving too much negative and it's like taking my energy away, I'm like, nah, I can't do it. Like
Right? It's
it's too many
exhausting to learn how to
people
fight.
like that.
Go to the
There's too many
war.
people out here like that. It's crazy. I see it all day online. I'm like, too many people doing this, doing that. They all over the place. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. Like, this is why everybody is still confused because it's
Yeah,
everybody
but
talking about.
people who do know, sitting back watching what y'all don't know and creating off of it and getting rich.
Crazy.
That's what's happening. The US is doing it, and the peers amongst you is doing it. Like, oh, they don't know this. Let me do. I got something for it, and then I'm gonna tell them some shit that's they don't know. So if you don't know, you just don't know. That's like simple as that too. Like if you don't know, you don't know. And discovery. That's all. Discovery.
Yep, discovery.
So, what is the usage of trade? Because the Uniform Commercial Code imposes that there must be a sale and lease of goods, and that sale or lease of goods is going to include a buyer and a seller. The Uniform Commercial Code imposes that along with the buyer and the seller, that a merchant must be hired, it must be employed, so that it can conduct the trade. So, what is, or that helps to create the buy, sell, and trade, but they have to be the ones to conduct it. So, what is the usage of trade? I want you to know that Article 1 lets you know that when you transact with another, you begin to create um, the course of dealing, the usage of trade, and the course of performance. These three things
So,
occur.
so is that something more so like the course, the uses of trade, them just sending you your, your bill? Like that's something they have to do when you exchanging it back to them and
Okay.
performing and endorsing and stuff like that.
Okay, so no, the usage, the course of dealing, that's going to tell how you've been making payment. How have you been dealing with these documents?
Okay.
The course of performance is going to tell your conduct, what you've been doing, how you've been doing it. So those are two things that they'll go back and look at to see, okay, this person been paying cash and then all of a sudden it changed of its course of dealing with the documents and now it's using the documents. Now it's performing the usage of performance.
Okay.
And then you have the uses of trade. The only way you're going to perform is if you perform by exchanging so that the trade can happen.
Okay, that makes sense.
Exchanging and transferring. Seller transfer, we exchange, they trade. Buy, sell, trade.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so what is the uses of trade? The usage of trade is a practice and a method. So this is something that you must practice in order to understand the method of trading. If you've never done that, never practiced trading, you're not a trader.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that. It's something that's been happening and it is something that is practiced. It is a method that is used to deal in commerce and it is regularly observed in trade. So if you're not a trader
Okay.
on the financial markets, then you don't do this work. You hold yourself out of this knowledge. You're not a trader. You're not investing your good into anything because you don't trade.
Right.
What you're doing is exchanging your good for a price so that another trade, someone who actually is on the financial market, someone who can
So
use the company financial asset. You can't use it. That's the only reason why they give you the instruction to give it to another because what are you going to do with it besides paying for it?
right. So we just allowing somebody else to work on our behalf pretty much.
Yeah, because the moment that you do not pay by that due date, you allow it to lapse and then they go ahead and they claim it.
Wow. See, that's something that I was curious about, but I asked you after we finished.
Oh yeah, 100%. They have the right. Whatever you could do,
So,
they could do. Whatever they can do, you could do. Whenever you don't do what you're supposed to do, they're gonna do it.
so there's no way to like say, like, all right, to go back and reclaim that abandoned credit, or was it just pretty much lost forever?
So you have statute of limitations on a lot of
Okay.
things. And normally it go from like 1 year to three, maybe five, maybe seven. Article 8 is going to tell you that it just varies by the type of instrument you're dealing with and the agreement that you make with the seller.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I stay on top of it. That was
Okay. So what is a merchant? Because this is obviously a very important person, and this is obviously someone who is different than a seller. However, you may have this seller merchant relationship. So, what is a merchant? A merchant deals with goods, bills, and contracts. They are the one who is going to be dealing with the usage of trade of those goods, not the seller. So,
Okay.
each and every person who send a bill back to the person who transferred it to them is going to be denied. They're going to tell them this is a not acceptable form of payment because the seller do not trade.
Right. They hold themselves without knowing anything about
Exactly.
what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless they have a
Mhm.
partnership with someone who do know, unless they have employed someone who do know, they still don't do it. So yeah,
Mm.
you sending that bill to them. You did not send in payment. This is unrecognizable. I will acknowledge you have a payment coupon, but I don't take it. And it's a fact. Because they don't.
No, that makes
So a
sense.
merchant deals with goods, bills, and contracts. A merchant is also someone who holds themselves out of having a peculiar skill. So they don't know certain things. They only know one thing. That's how to trade. They also hold themselves out of having the knowledge of goods. So they don't know what the good is. This merchant don't know unless they have something within their possession that they can go and look back at. And they will be able to. That promissory note. The exact same items that the seller transferred to them in exchange with them for a price. They're going to have that to acknowledge to be able to determine the good. Other than that, they hold themselves out of knowing whatever that is. It's up to you to figure that out. They also
Okay.
hold themselves out of having or knowing how you will consider your good. They don't determine when you receive that good in the mail, your bill in the mail, what you gonna do with it, how you consider it. You either consider it being something of value and you're gonna pay with it, or you're gonna consider it something that you want to keep and you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna give up a US debt note and then you're gonna keep the bill. Wherever you keep it, or you may even dispose of it, but you paid for it.
Right. So
They
they
hold
only job is, I'm sorry. So they only
no,
job is just to send it to you. Like, hey, we just gonna tender this delivery to you, and that's all. That's pretty much all we got to do. And whatever you do with it is on you.
exactly, because they doing exactly what they agreed to do. They agreed to transfer you that statement at a price for whatever services you use.
Right.
So for as long as they did that and you actually got it, then they don't have any fault. The only time they have some fault is when you don't get it. When they don't make that offer of your statement to you online or by mail. If they don't do that at all, now they're in trouble.
Okay, so it's like if it's not conforming to what you agreed to.
Exactly. Every
Okay.
single thing that we do is going to be pursuant to your agreements and your contracts. We're not going to do what the hell we want to do. We're not going to do what we think we should do. We're not going to do nothing. We're going to do what the agreement said we should do. And that's it. Each party who is involved is going to do that because each party who is involved must comply with the agreement and the agreement only. The term.
Good faith and honesty. Okay.
That's it. Anything else is like, okay, you're going to pay in debt then. You don't want no interest.
That's so crazy.
A merchant is also someone who hires or employs a broker or an agent. A broker or an agent. A seller or you. Who
Mm-hmm.
also is going to hold themselves out of having certain types of knowledge. You don't have, the broker doesn't have the knowledge of a merchant. The agent doesn't have the knowledge of a merchant. But when you look at broker or agent, these positions can mirror. So whenever this agent don't do what they got to do, this broker will do it. This broker is
Got it.
always going to give the agent a chance to do what they got to do. Always. They were hired
Mm.
to do it, and you were employed to make sure you continue the job.
Wow. So that's just like what you just said, pretty much said. Like if you're not gonna accept these credits as collateral for your use, then the broker will do
Yeah, why would they let that lapse? They sending you
it.
a check, a
Exactly.
bill every single month. Like if you don't want to accept it, then cool. I mean, I got a big lump sum in the beginning, so I'm straight. Just pay me the
That's
cash.
free money.
Uh,
That's crazy.
What are you saying? Everything you touch is free. Anything any individual touches free. Yeah, it's free. The house I'm in right now is free. The car I drive is free. The air I breathe is free.
Because it comes from your
Me.
open-end credit plan.
Yeah, and me, an individual, someone who is natural to this earth and everything belongs
Exactly.
in, it's to me. They can't
Exactly.
stop us from coming. They can't stop the trees from growing. They can't stop the water from flowing. They can't stop anything that is considered to be natural to this land. But what they have done is created a list of rules and regulations to manage all these people. You must. It only makes sense.
You gotta have some order.
Gotta have some order. Gotta have some order. I mean, other than that, it's just gonna be billions of people running around loose.
That's okay.
We're not going to do that. So they created the elements of contracting. Indiana contract law.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the UCC and the contract law connection. You have that course as well. They based
So,
everything. No, go ahead.
oh, it's just like crazy. Like 'cause like you just said, like being from the earth, being living, being this frequency. You are is everything you touch is free. You from the land,
Exactly.
like everything you touch is free, and they just gave you an opportunity to use that same mentality into
Exactly.
commerce, like
Exactly.
with the person, with that organization that they
Thank
provided
you.
for you.
They gave you
So
somebody who can be charged for something because you can't, so that you can get what you want for personal, family, or household use.
right. So just how you benefit as a living on earth, you can benefit in the commercial world as well. So it's just
Thank
like
you.
it's crazy.
It's a beautiful thing. So they created the element of contracting for everybody. Offer,
Right.
acceptance, and consideration.
Simple.
Everybody
Simple.
got something
Simple.
to offer. And if you offer something, somebody will have something to accept. And if they accept it in exchange, you're gonna get something to consider. Always. Never gonna stop. You get pulled over by the police, they're gonna offer your ass a ticket, you're gonna accept it, you're gonna consider paying it. It's never changing. Child support. Your baby mama mad. She go down to that child support office, give them an offer to tax you for your own kid. They're gonna accept that offer and they're gonna make you consider paying every single month for it.
Right. That's crazy.
Everything has the element of contracting.
Oh man.
Offer, acceptance, and consideration. So if ever someone offers something to you, you have the obligation to accept it. Now, how you give consideration to it is up to you. You may accept it by paying cash, or you may literally accept it.
Right.
It's up to you, and nobody is going to tell you how you should consider using your documents except the Uniform Commercial Code.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm ready. Like you got me.
It makes so much sense, right? And you have taken courses prior, so you will be able to take this information and understand what they're saying, whether it's right or wrong or just their perspective. You'll get it. But you're gonna have it a little bit more clear to see uh it's a better way. So
Yeah, I
what
love it.
I love it too. What's considered an offer? You're considered to be in or receive an offer whenever you receive a price. When you completed that contract or that instrument, that application with the seller, you transferred it to them for a price. You offer them the price of that document. And it was $60,000. And they like, cool, I'll take it. I accept it. I'm going to find a merchant who can use this promissory note. And then I'll create installment plans for you to get a smaller price for allowing that transaction to occur, for giving authorization for that. I'll send you a
Right.
bill. I'll send you payments every single
Okay.
month for this amount. Those are offers. So anytime you receive this document for a price from anyone, it's an offer to you.
Right.
It is an irrevocable firm offer because that's what it's going to be. Whatever you or whenever you contract on the common law side of things, whatever you agree to, that's exactly what you must have. So if you agree to buy this car at $60,000, that's an irrevocable firm offer. It's going to be for $60,000. If you agree to
Right.
receive $600 every single month, you're going to receive a bill for $600 every single month, and that's the irrevocable firm offer. It's going to be that much unless you have the option or have agreed to pay more or less.
Right. So it can't change. Yeah.
Exactly. Written or
Yeah.
oral communication to another is an offer. You're going to have bills where you're going to be receiving a written offer from them, the actual bill. And then you're going to have in your agreement where you actually can call them on the phone and request your refund, letting them know that you accept the offer orally.
Okay.
So, written or orally, you can accept the offer from another. Instructions on how the offer can be accepted is also considered an offer. They're telling you plenty of ways when you receive your bill in the mail, how many ways that you can accept it. Plenty. They have an instruction to pay too. So there go one way right there. They're offering you to transfer. They're offering you to do something or pay your obligation to another. And then they also have even more offers on you. Pay online, pay in person, come in, call over the phone. They tell you these.
It do. It sure do.
Yeah, they're offering you multiple ways for you to consider paying the price. It's unconditional.
They like we just need that collateral. They
We
give
just
you all these options.
so you can satisfy the lien. I don't care how
Hmm.
you consider doing it, legally or lawfully. Pay me. You go to court
That's
for
so
non
wild.
performance because you're not
You just
paying.
said you just said something that just like I mean it already had clicked, but when you just brought it back to my attention when you said satisfying the lien, so that lets you know clearly that if they sending you a bill that they have some type of lien on it, you know what I'm saying? That a
Exactly.
lien. Right.
Exactly. There's a creditor who is making a claim to the same property you're receiving, whether it's the real property or the personal property. There's a creditor making a claim to that same document or to that same property.
Right.
They want a piece. They want to share it with you. One gonna
And
make sure you get it, and the other one gonna take it.
that's that UCC one financing statement, right?
Exactly. There's where you have Article 9 fall into play, and they let you know how you create money.
That's so funny because everybody be like, "Oh, you got to do it." You know what's so funny? Because when I was going through the truth and lending on the video, it literally said something about not you don't have to perfect your security interest. And I was just like, it say that in the truth and lending too. I didn't even know that.
That's why they direct you to the Truth and Lending on all your bills. If you need more information than what I'm telling you right now, go look at your Truth and Lending disclosure so you can understand that one, cash isn't comparable, and two, we already created the money.
Exactly. Like your interest is already secured. It's already perfected. You don't have to do any because it
Already
would have been
perfect.
imposed. It would have been imposed or listed as a charge, included in the finance charge if you had to do it.
We don't have to do it. It sure would. You'll have an extra $15 fee.
Right.
But that's what
Crazy.
going to do? They're either going to make you sign the document right then and there in your face, or they have 20 days to do it after you initiate the contract or the agreement. So you have
Okay.
some people who never see the UCC1 financing statement. It's like, I never signed that. Well, they had 20 days to get it together and make a claim to the real property that you got in your possession.
It's crazy.
It's beautiful, crazy.
Right, in a good way though. Yeah, like in an amazing way.
For the same, not the goddamn insane. So, what is acceptance? Acceptance can simply be you stating that you accept the offer from, the seller, or even, you calling and requesting a refund. You can actually constitute your acceptance by just stating that you accept the offer. You accept the offer for them to sell you this or that. You just accept the offer. Common law contracting, it requires that whatever you accept, you get exactly what you agreed to receive. So in those agreements, you agreed to receive the statement every single month representing the billing cycle for a price. That's what you agreed to receive. So when you
Statement
receive
of
that,
account.
you must accept it. So if you receive to or if you agree to receive this 5-bedroom house, that is exactly what you must get according to the agreement. Now you have the Uniform Commercial Code that comes in and alters and gap fills common law contracting. Common law contracting is going to say you're going to get exactly what you agreed to get, whatever service, you're going to get that. You have the Uniform Commercial Code that fills that gap to say, well, I know that I made an agreement for services, but what about the goods? The Uniform Commercial Code comes in and fill that gap and provides additional ways that you can accept your property and pay. So it fills that gap of goods and services.
That makes sense because it's about good. The UCC governs goods. Feel
Exactly.
me? Mm-hmm.
So what is consideration? Consideration is going to be the reason that you enter into the contract to begin with. You're not going to enter into an agreement or a contract with anyone and you're not going to get anything in consideration. That's not going to happen. So consideration is the reason why you enter into the contract. You want to receive something from consideration, like your personal property, something that
Right.
you can create the medium of exchange with. So they give you something. They give you something to consider. So whenever you're dealing with consideration, it is something that is given. They give you your bill every single month for you to consider it due to an agreement that you have with them. Consideration could be things like property or money,
Right.
real property or personal property. And we use both to create the medium of exchange because we are giving it to one another, transferring it to one another. And it creates the medium of exchange. That's the type of money we consider. Not using a U.S. debt note, property of the state. We don't want to use that. We don't need to. I don't want to use their stuff. I got my own stuff.
Makes sense to me.
Our bill is something that we are given so that we can take it for consideration. There's someone else who also is going to take it for consideration due to that lien that they have. They want that. They
That's
wait
secure
for you to
party.
release that collateral.
That's secure party.
The merchant,
Yeah.
someone who takes on the role as a creditor because the seller don't take on the role as a creditor. It's
Right.
not. Now they may extend what we give them, but up until we give it to them, they can't extend anything. That's why they need us.
That's exactly. They need us for everything to flow.
Look, us in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
That's why banks ain't gonna go where the people not.
The
So what
FCRA.
is period?
Mm-hmm.
So what is looked at to determine the agreement that you may have with the seller? The parole evidence, aka your contract, is looked at to determine the agreement that the parties have. So if ever you want to understand what it is that you agreed to do, how it is you agreed to perform, you're going to go back and look at your agreements. You're going to go back and look at your parole evidence. In the mail
Okay.
every single month, you're going to be receiving prima facie evidence. Evidence that you have a contract, evidence that you have an agreement. When you overstand that agreement, that is how you're going to learn how to enforce your contract. Without that
Right.
agreement, you don't have a clue how to enforce your contract. Not one. Especially if you think that you pay US debt notes to pay it. You have no clue. Because in that agreement, they say don't send cash. When you receive your bill in the mail, it say don't send cash. So if you think that you should be paying cash, then you just have no clue on how to enforce an agreement that you have.
Yep. That's funny.
That's
That
just
is
like
so funny
it just
because
is
they say
what it
cash is
is.
not comparable. So that's like clear evidence that it's a finance charge involved because they say cash is
Exactly.
not comparable.
15 USC let you know cash is not comparable. And you know it's a finance charge because when you receive your bill in the mail, you see more than one charge.
Exactly.
You
So
see
it's
the
like the
taxes. You
interest.
see all of that.
Yeah.
And people like it's fraud. For who? Yeah, the person who paying cash it is, but for me, I'm gonna need that.
Uh-huh.
Please run me that so I can see some of our charges and know that there's some credit involved. The US is
Exactly.
involved. For as long as the US is involved, they're gonna cover my debt dollar for dollar. I want to see the tax. Please. If you leave it off, I'm gonna tell you you left it off.
Mm, mm, mm.
I need that tax for my exchange rate. Now, if you're not exchanging with anybody, then you don't want the tax. You want to be exempt from it.
Right.
But as an individual, you're naturally exempt from it because you don't owe anything. So why put up the fight to be exempt?
Like
Unless you're
assignment
fighting
going
for
on.
unless you're fighting for a business that you created to be exempt. Other than that, naturally you are. Why do you feel you ain't? Because a lot of people don't feel like themselves. They don't feel like they're an individual. They don't feel they just don't. But we are individuals and that just can't change. We look in the mirror every day, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's only
That's
one of
right.
those people you see.
That's
And
facts though. Because people are so confused out here. It's just like, ah,
then they stressed out too. They trying to figure out how to pay their bill and they doing all this stuff, accounts being closed. People stressed. And it's like clogging that judgment. So
people
they
are
doing
stressed, but Congress put this information out so people can not be stressed.
that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about public record. People reading the damn Bible front to back, they should be reading the law front to back.
Absolutely.
Ah, man. But we're gonna go ahead and make this our last question too. So,
Okay.
how do you comply with the Uniform Commercial Code? Because that's what you want to do. Each party who is involved in the agreement has a duty, and that is to observe the Uniform Commercial Code. Be knowledgeable of that. So, how do you comply with the Uniform Commercial Code? You must have written confirmation between a merchant. I want you to notice it's that between a merchant. So, someone who is going to be looking to bail you out.
Right. The bailment.
Exactly. It creates the Bailey Baylor relationship. They gave you something to help initiate that. You also comply with the Uniform Commercial Code by having a mission of a writing to a secure party. A secure party, not somebody who's not secured. If you send your bill back to the person who you do business with, they're listed as a debtor, not a secure party. There's nothing that they can do to help you. They deal in debts.
Mm,
They are a
they
debtor,
do.
not a secure
Mm.
party. If you go search any UCC1 financing statement, you're going to see the person who you're in business with as being a debtor, not a secure party. And you don't comply with the Uniform Commercial Code by omitting your writing to them.
That makes sense. Hmm.
If they have agreed, like, all right, we'll take it, then that's a different story. Other than that, complying with the Uniform Commercial Code does not involve you omitting your writing back to them. In
They
order
just
to,
doing their job, sending you your bill, pretty much. I mean,
yeah,
your document,
yeah,
sending you
sending you a
delivery.
stipend every single month, a coupon.
Mm-hmm.
You comply with the Uniform Commercial Code by receiving a specially manufactured good, like your bill. Your bill is going to come to you for you only. We can have the same company, but I'm not going to receive your bill because it's specially made for you and the amount of services that you use. So, in order to comply with the Uniform Commercial Code, they must specially manufacture a good to represent your account, give you a statement of account. That's how you comply with the Uniform Commercial Code. You also comply with the Uniform Commercial Code by delivery of those statements, making payment with those statements, and accepting those statements. When you do that, that's how you become involved in the sale and lease of goods.
Okay.
So how do you feel? We're gonna wrap it up, but before we end, any type of elaborations, anything, you gotta
I mean,
say.
I feel good because it's like it's more so like you giving me like a better insight on like I guess like regulation, commercial like
Yeah,
rules and regulation. You know what I'm saying? So like I know we dealing with credit now. I got that understanding. Like okay, everything is credit, but now when you come into the commercial world, it's called something different. You know what I'm saying? So it's called personal property goods. You know what I'm saying? Something to value. You know what I'm saying? Something that because you gotta have that understanding that you're dealing with credit and that you can defer these payments. So it all kind of
exactly.
adds up. Like
It
everything
do.
you receive, you can defer. You can
Yeah, it's a
transfer.
really strong connection. I mean, a good, strong connection. You got all these real estate agents making millions of dollars, not knowing that they could be doubling that.
Right. Right. And it's like one thing, like even with me, like I know sometimes when I was reading my AT&T statement, I'm like trying to, it has the payment information and all that. And when
You
I
can
send it,
email it to me. You can email me your agreement.
okay, because I had actually, so you had me thinking one time when you had mentioned, I'm like, let me go to the actual contract, and it says credit sale on there. I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
Good. They
It
selling
say
you
credit,
credit every single time you get that bill in the mail. They selling you credit. You should accept
right? Yeah, and it's like when I seen like the address and I had looked it up, it seemed like it was like a lockbox or something. And I wasn't sure. It's like, okay, do I supposed to send it to him? See, I didn't have that
Yeah,
information at
because
the
the
time, you know?
lockbox is cool because I mean, banks have lockboxes, right?
Yeah, they do.
To
And it
store
makes
and
sense now.
collect these precious items.
Yeah. See, I wasn't familiar with the whole lockbox thing until I started doing some research, not research on it, and I was like, oh, this is actually what it makes it more convenient for them to
Yep, I even
accept
got a
these
post
payments through
on
credit.
my Instagram page that explains a little bit about the lockbox. So definitely go look.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. And I think what I was doing wrong because I was like, let me just try this. I was, I'm doing it all wrong, like signing it wrong and putting messing up.
Everybody was.
You know what I'm saying? And then you get mad like they not accepting it, blah blah blah. But when you start breaking things down, I'm like, yo, we're not even following the instructions on even how to do it. Like
Right, we
it's
must be
rules
in compliance.
and compliance exactly.
If
And
ever we're not in compliance, then we're acting improper. And whenever we're acting improper, then we're not acting proper enough to get the result we want. We're not
right.
in compliance.
Yeah, you're
So
right. I mean, I can't even. It's all making sense. Like just understanding. Like I know sometimes you'll post something and be like, "Yeah, the who's the payee?" And I didn't. Now I understand the payee is who it's payable to. You know what I'm saying? So I was like thinking I'm the payee because I received it, but it's just for me to forward it to obviously it's paid to me because it's my. I'm listed as a party named on the coupon, but as the entitlement holder because I granted credit, I granted the my personal information, the right to my personal information, so I can receive this these credits, the evidence of indebtedness, so I can defer it. It just all kind of make a sense.
it's
You know
all
what I'm
it's a great connection. Like for real, it really is a great connection. Beautiful picture, like beautiful story.
saying? Yeah.
I'll go ahead and stop our recording so that it could go ahead and begin